Good morning, Morena. How did we end up at the end of July? Bloody hell. Oh, I've had a very hectic couple of weeks, and this week I'm hoping is going to be much smoother. And I opened up my planner to have my meeting with myself. I've just had the most glorious weekend. I'm feeling very fucking honoured. I'm feeling very honoured. I'm feeling very relaxed. And you know, all it took was 2 nights. So it's my birthday this week, and I've got some beautiful friends, like I'm talking top shelf fucking friends, and they took me away, and it was just insanely beautiful. And 2 nights in the most beautiful house, just with the most beautiful people, and we did literally fuck all. We sat, we drank tea, we laughed, we ate, we laughed some more, we talked shit, we drank tea. That was it. It was amazing. Had a spa under the stars. That was pretty fucking amazing. Anyway, I've had my whole tank. My tank was pretty low, I've got to be honest. And my whole tank has been replenished. Oh, you know, good people, man. May we fucking find them and raise them. Whatever that saying is. Anyway, I'm just feeling like a lot of love is in my tank. And you know, it was funny, I rang my daughter on the way home and she said, "Oh my God, you sound completely different." And I'm like, wow, see? Isn't that amazing what 2 days, 2 nights, 2 days, and just a lot of loving people can do to you? And the problem is, it was really tempting for me last week to go, oh no, I'm not going to go. I'm not going to go away because I've got a whole lot of fuckery going on. I've got a lot of stuff that's really big, important life stuff happening. And I'm kind of doing a whole lot of support stuff with my parents. And I thought, you know what, I actually have to go, because one thing I've always been really aware of is the need to look after myself as a support person. And as a parent, as a business owner, as anything, you have to look after yourself, because no other bastard's going to, you know? And like my beautiful friends organised this weekend away for me, which is insane and so generous and wonderful. But actually, I still had to say yes, and I still had to go. And it's so easy to go, oh no, I couldn't possibly, no. And you've got to say yes, yes, not no. And then I opened up my planner to have my meeting, and there is a Jack Cranfield quote in here for today. And it says, you only have control over 3 things in your life: the thoughts you think, the images you visualize, and the actions you take. And you know, that is so true, right? So the thoughts that we think, I could think, oh God, I can't possibly go away, you know, that won't be any good, and all the terrible things that will happen, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, well, no, I don't want to think like that. And I get to think positively. I get to think generously, which is what I choose to do. The images you visualize, there's no point visualizing everything turning to shit, or visualizing, you know, terrible time, or visualizing problems, because we just create more of them, right? And then the actions you take, the action I took to pack a bag and get in a car when I had zero energy was the greatest fucking thing I could have done. Like, I'm really proud of myself, because that's big stuff, isn't it? And, you know, I just think what an opportunity to have such lovely people. And this was organised a long time ago, because, you know, my birthday started a fucking long time ago. I'm very old. Oh, I do love getting older. Anyway, I'm writing about that in my blog this week, about our age and, you know, how we get a little birthday fucking upgrade every year, a bit of a tickle up, a birthday tickle up. Anyway, that's exciting. So I've got a bit of a busy week, and the last 10 days have been so insanely crazy, and I've been kind of completely distracted with some family emergencies and stuff, and I haven't really thought much. And do you know, I love the way the universe works. So whenever I have dramas, the universe just seems to open up, and they fall on the days where I have space. So I had 3 days at home with just kind of admin stuff happening, nothing that I couldn't move or shift. And all of a sudden, all the drama happens in those days. Perfect, right? Fucking perfect. And I'm so sunny side up that I'm like, thanks, universe, for giving me drama on those days, because there's no point. Everyone gets drama. But if you can get it on an easy day, it's better than on a bad day, isn't it? So I love that. Anyway, as a result, I didn't really do a lot of planning or thinking about this coming week at all last week, because I was literally in survival mode. And then I've come home from a lovely weekend fannying about doing fuck all, and I thought, oh, look, here we go. So tomorrow I'm in Wellington doing a keynote, which is very exciting. do love a keynote. So I'm going to be on stage speaking, which is my favourite thing in the world to do. So that's a bit exciting. Whizzing to Wellington and back for the day. And then I've got lots of mentoring appointments on Tuesday with very clever, interesting people, which is a blessing, and a haircut, a good old-fashioned haircut. Now, my hairdresser, David, has been my hairdresser for 39 years. Isn't that insane? 39 years he's been cutting my hair, and it was his birthday last Friday, and it's mine on Wednesday. So we always have a bit of a birthday haircut, just so I get to spend an hour yabbering to him because I love him. So anyway, that's exciting. And then more mentoring and a couple of conference calls, talking to clients about up and coming events. I love that. I love listening to people tell me about the challenges or problems they've got, in their industry or in their company, and how I can make a difference when I'm booked to go in and work with those people. So that makes me fucking happy. So that is a little bit exciting. And then I've got more mentoring on Thursday, and then I'm going line dancing because that is my new thing. It's good for my brain health. It's good for my butt. It's good for my legs. It's good for my calf muscles. It's good for me laughing. Oh my God. And then I'm off to Queenstown to speak at an event down there for the weekend. So it's a bit of a busy old week. And so in there, I'm thinking, shit, well, anyway, and Queenstown's fun to pack for, isn't it? Because, I've got all these clothes for the frosty days, and I'm like, I'm going to pick all my favourite winter things. And because I love wrapping up warm and wearing winter things. So that's going to be quite fun. And yeah, I've got quite a bit to do. I've got a new program coming out, maybe even this week. My planner goes on sale this week for 2026. Can you believe it? So anyway, that's exciting. So we've got lots of shit going on at the office. Yes, and I've got to take the dog to the vet, take the parents to the vet. No, I'm joking. Anyway, I've got a couple of appointments to organise, a few medical things, and there we go. That is the week. Yeah. And I'm integrating this week. So last week I was in full-blown care mode. This week I'm integrating into part-time care and work mode. And, it's a lot when you're juggling work and care. And I'll be doing, a few meals on wheels and a bit of care. So just got to make sure I've managed to squish up my days so that I've got a little bit of space, bit of muck around time. And I think that's important. When I wrote my book, actually I must look up when I wrote my book, Look Gorgeous, Be Happy, back in 2014, there's a story in there about my youngest daughter, and she used to write herself a little schedule. I think she was about 8 or 9, and she would write a schedule, and she would put, get up at 7, have breakfast, and then at 7:30 clean teeth and pack school bag or something. She loved a wee system, and she was very organised. And then she would put in her morning from 7:30 till 8, muck around. There was space to muck around. And I remember saying to her, what's this time here? And she goes, well, it's for mucking around. Like, you always muck around, so you've got to put it in. I was like, fuck, that's insanely wise for a 7 or 8-year-old, isn't it? She's always been wise. But I do love that. And so what I've done this week deliberately is given myself a little hour here or there for just because I just know it's going to get filled, And it's like, it wouldn't make sense to me to be back to back to back to back and not have those hours just to go, yeah, no, I can make that phone call. I can drop that off. I can pick that up. Because that's just the sort of life admin that needs to happen when you're helping other people. And then you've got like 3 times the life admin, right? So anyway, that's my job. So what's your life admin? And have you got some little bits of time just in case, mop-up time, bit of muck around mop-up time? Have you factored that in where you go, actually, I'm not going to start work till a bit later that morning, so I've got a few hours to muck around, or I'm going to have a few hours that night to muck around, or I'm going to have a few hours in the middle of the day to muck around. Now, not everyone has time to muck around. I remember one of the women that came to my repotted retreat at the last one, we were doing a schedule. Her life was fucking mental. Like, she went to the gym at she got up at 5, went to the gym at 5:30, was home, did kids stuff, was in the car at 7:30, dropped kids at school, was driving around probably Auckland or something. I can't remember the details. And, people say, oh, please don't talk about me. I'm like, mate, you'd be lucky if I remembered anything. I don't remember the details. But then was at work at sort of, 8:15 and had a half-hour lunch break, and then finished at 5, and then went to the supermarket, and then walked the dog, and then cooked dinner. And then it was just insane. It was back to back to back to back. And I know so many people that live like that, and I've lived like that. But it's not really living. It's kind of existing. And it's like, how can you get off that bandwagon? And, it's not possible when you've got young kids and you are just stacked up with responsibility and stacked up with doing. But it's like, you've got to find some time to go. Instead of blobbing on the couch and turning on the telly, you've got to go, right, I'm heading to the bath with a book. I'm heading to bed early with a magazine. What are you going to do, to give yourself little pockets? Because otherwise you'll go insane. And that's where you get completely fried. And I think weaving little moments is one of the secrets to my success. I weave moments. Even last week when I was in hospital with my mum, I was just going, all right, I'm just going to go down and grab us a coffee. And I would go to the cafe, and while the coffee, I would just sit and stare out the window and do some breathing. And then I get the coffee, and then I go back up. And, I was just taking little moments here and there. And when one of the nurses came in and was doing something, and I thought, I'll just go, I just went down, sat in my car and listened to a meditation, and then walked back up because I wasn't required. And it's a good use of my time to do some steps. So I took the stairs so that I made sure I was doing my steps each day. And then I sat in the car and listened to a meditation. It took 7 minutes. The only problem was the poor bastards that thought I was leaving my park, because parking was so fraught. And they thought I was leaving my park, and I wasn't leaving my park. And I was so sorry because I was fraudulent, because they saw me get in the car and then sat there, and I waved and said, not actually going anywhere, just listening to a meditation, if you don't mind. Anyway, you've got to find these wee moments. And so finding wee moments when you're under real pressure to go, oh, are my shoulders down? Am I actually breathing properly? Is my ass unclenched? Have I eaten in the last 3 hours? Those little moments when you're really under the pump. But when you're sort of not fully under the pump, but still quite under the pump, you still got to have space, don't you? Because, dollars to I love that saying, dollars to donuts. Dollars to donuts. I love that. Dollars to donuts. I'm going to have extra things pop up this week. Appointments, support, phone calls, forms, just fuckery. And it's going to have to happen, right? So I might as well have in my planner this week that I have at least 4 hours this week for fucking around, because fuck, it's going to get full. You just know. You know how you just know some weeks are going to be like that? Well, I just know. So I do like dollars to donuts. Don't know where it comes from. I also love, we were laughing on the weekend about the saying flat stick. Oh, I'm flat stick. Isn't that a funny saying? I'm flat stick. I love old sayings like that, and I like to look them up. The one you mustn't use is rule of thumb. So the term, when you say, well, that's just rule of thumb, we do this. Well, actually, the term rule of thumb came from the 1940s, where men were allowed to bash their wives with anything as long as it wasn't thicker than their thumb. Like, I'm sorry, but what the fuck kind of system was that? And so that even the phrase rule of thumb now, I have a pufferfish moment. I get a bit like, and I'll arc up. So I say, you can't say that, because we're not supporting anyone hitting anyone, least of all a man hitting his wife. So anyway, we don't do rule of thumb. I also don't do kill 2 birds with 1 stone. Why would you want to kill 2 fucking birds? Birds are beautiful. Like, I don't think I'm killing any birds. And I don't think that's a nice saying. People get offended because I swear a lot. Love it, right? People get offended. Oh, you said cunt. Yeah, well, you just said rape. You just said kill 2 birds with 1 stone. Fuck, don't be offended by a cunt. Jesus, they're lovely, aren't they? Anyway, there you go. That's my wisdom for today. So happy Monday. And yeah, I'll see you on the other side. Have a good week. Bye-bye.